At 61, Keanu Reeves stands on the edge of something no one expected. His body, scarred by years of stunts, surgeries, and crashes, moves slower now. The man, once called immortal by fans, walks with quiet pain. But what he's about to reveal isn't about broken bones or box office numbers. It's about the final sentence he's chosen for his life. Not a career break, not retirement, something deeper, something final. And when he said the words, Hollywood froze. Keanu Charles Reeves came into the world on September 2nd in 1964 in Beirut, Lebanon. His mother, Patricia, a young British woman who worked with fabrics and dreams. His father, Samuel, a Hawaiian Chinese drifter with a grin too wild to last. They met in a haze of youth and risk. And for a brief second, they thought it was love. But love for Keanu never stayed. Just 3 weeks after he was born, they packed up their lives and fled Beirut for Sydney. Then came New York, then Toronto. Every few years, another city. Another goodbye. When Keanu was barely old enough to understand words, his father vanished. One day he was there, the next he wasn't. Patricia told him that Samuel had gone back to Hawaii. Later, Keanu would learn what that really meant. Drugs, jail, darkness. By the time he turned 3, his father's name was already an echo. He remembered one final meeting. Hawaii, 1977. The stars above, the air heavy with salt and memory. Father and son sitting side by side, saying nothing. Keanu looked at the man who had taught him absence. And for a moment, they were both quiet. Two strangers pretending to be family. The next morning, Samuel drove him to the airport, dropped him off, and disappeared forever. Later, when someone asked where his father was, Keanu said quietly, "It's like the earth swallowed him." That line became the ghost that followed him through every script, every performance, every silence he ever held. His mother tried to build something out of the ruins. Patricia remarried again and again, searching for stability that never came. A Broadway director, a rock promoter, a salon owner. Each man walked in and out of Keanu's life like actors changing scenes. Each one left another scar of instability. But Patricia kept working. Her life in costume design brought strange figures into Keanu's childhood. One night, Alice Cooper babysat him. Another day, Dolly Parton dropped by. On the surface, it was a glittering life. Behind it, chaos. Toronto became his longest home. But even there, nothing stuck. By 17, he had attended 4 different high schools. He was expelled from one for being too loud. At another, he tried to fit in through hockey. A goalie, quick and brave, nicknamed the Wall. But even the Wall couldn't protect him from himself. He had dyslexia. Words jumped, letters slipped. Reading was a battlefield. He said once, "I wasn't a good student because I couldn't read." He hid it by pretending to understand, nodding while lost inside. Every day was an act, a rehearsal for the roles he'd someday play. Then came the injury, a violent crack, a flash of white pain. His ankle shattered in a hockey accident, so severe he could see the bone. The dream of playing professionally, of joining the Olympic team, was gone in an instant. And just like that, the last thread of normal teenage life snapped. He turned to acting, not out of ambition, but survival. Pretending became his only safe place. He joined small theater groups, working backstage, then stepping into roles. One of his first plays was called Wolf Boy, a raw, controversial story about isolation and madness. Keanu's performance was so visceral that people whispered about it for years. In 1984, he got a small role on Canadian television. A troubled teen in Hanging In. The irony wasn't lost on him. He was that kid, troubled, restless, unsure. Soon after, he packed up his car, a worn-out Volvo, and drove to Hollywood alone. No plan, just a road ahead. He crossed the desert under the same stars he once watched with his father, not realizing that the boy under those stars would one day become the man everyone called unbreakable. When he arrived in Los Angeles, agents told him his name was too foreign, too soft. "Change it," they said. "You'll never make it in Hollywood with a name like that." He tried. For a while he went by Casey Reeves, but it felt wrong, like erasing the only truth he had left. So he changed it back. He would rather fail as himself and succeed as someone else. That decision, small, quiet, defiant, set the tone for everything he'd ever do. The early years in Hollywood were merciless. Cheap motel, rejections that felt personal, casting directors who said he was too stiff, too quiet, too strange. He took whatever came: commercials, bit parts, background roles. When he wasn't acting, In 1991, his sister Kim was diagnosed with leukemia. Keanu moved closer, sold his house, and spent nearly every day at her side. To pay for treatments, he quietly sold properties, vehicles, and memorabilia from his films. He told no one. Even as The Matrix made him one of the highest-paid actors in the world, he funneled most of his earnings into cancer research. In December 1999, just as the world celebrated The Matrix, Keanu prepared for fatherhood. He and his girlfriend, Jennifer Sim, were expecting a baby girl. They named her Ava. Then, 1 week before her due date, tragedy struck. On Christmas Eve, Ava was stillborn. Keanu disappeared. Then in April 2001, tragedy returned. Jennifer died in a car crash at dawn. When Keanu called the coroner's office, his voice cracked. That was the day a part of him stopped living. He never married again, never had children. When asked why, he said softly, "Grief and love are intertwined." In 2014, John Wick revived his career. A story about a man who loses his wife and dog and goes to war with the world. For Keanu, it wasn't just fiction. He trained 10 hours a day, fought through torn ligaments and old injuries. Every punch, every fall, every scream was real. By the time Keanu Reeves reached his 50s, the John Wick franchise exploded beyond expectations. During filming, he dislocated his shoulder, shattered his kneecap, broke fingers. Doctors told him to stop. He smiled and kept filming. He gave away most of his fortune to hospitals, schools, cancer research. When watches were stolen from his home, he said they must have needed them more than I did. By 2025, Keanu's body was a map of scars. Doctors warned another major stunt could end his ability to walk. Still, he signed on for John Wick 5. He now pays over $50,000 a month to cybersecurity firms fighting digital thieves using his face. He performed on Broadway 8 shows a week, barely able to stand. He bought breakfast for strangers, gave up his subway seat, helped at food banks during the pandemic, disguised in masks. He didn't tell anyone. At 60, Keanu had everything the world could offer. But what he valued most couldn't be bought. Time, silence, decency. He had become what his name always meant, a cool breeze over the mountains. And when he finally spoke about the end, his words sent ripples through Hollywood. "This isn't retirement," he said. "It's gratitude. It's time to go home."